The drama begins with the female lead Ji Xing, who is having a phone conversation with her mother before heading to her job. She tells her that she and her boyfriend have been searching for a home to move into right after they get married. It appears that she has a steady relationship with her, Yi Chen. Ji Xing informs her mother to stop nagging her about getting married, as both she and her boyfriend value their careers and believe that purchasing a house is far more significant in this economy than a traditional marriage. Ji Xing shares her living space with her roommate, Tu Xiaoming, who streams online. Meanwhile, Han Ting, the male lead, is coming back from Germany to China to take charge of his grandfather's medical business. He demonstrates his business acumen by skillfully addressing a board member attempting to undermine him. He calls off the board meeting to thwart his cousin Ms. Yuan's cunning schemes. Ji Xing is arriving late to work because the bus stop is being renovated. Due to the expensive taxi fares, she has to hire a bicycle. In a rush, her bike collides with Han Ting's vehicle and results in minor damage. She guarantees to make amends for the harm. In the meantime, she locks eyes with Han Ting. It seems that he is familiar with her from the past. Han Ting gestured for the driver to proceed. The windows of the car were tinted, preventing Ji Xing from seeing who was inside. She simply turned her head gratefully, surprised by the kindness of such a generous car owner. Ji Xing hurried to the office, where her supervisor was showcasing the PPT she had carefully designed to the executives. This wasn't the initial instance her supervisor copied her diligent efforts. Nonetheless, Ji Xing was careful this time. She had deliberately omitted several words from a professional chart in the PPT. The seasoned Han Ting quickly identified the problem and directly inquired with the person responsible about the method of calculation. At Han Ting's direction, she walks onto the stage to present her project. It is clear that the pair are former acquaintances. However, Han Ting pays her no attention at all. After the meeting, Ji Xing reconnects with an old friend to assist him with his startup venture. The friend tells her that he has succeeded in raising funds for the business and wishes for Ji Xing to partner with him. He brings to her attention her desire to establish a technology company. However, Ji Xing has numerous obligations now, and she is satisfied with her present role. Her friend persuades her to thoughtfully contemplate his proposal. At the same time, Ji Xing gets a call from her supervisor, Miss Zheng, who invites her to a meeting with a potential client. Ji Xing and her supervisor encounter the client at an exclusive club. She is astonished to find Han Ting seated there. Once she wows the client with her poker abilities, he tries to connect with her. Then, Han Ting sees the client resting his arm on her shoulder. Ji Xing was subsequently summoned by her employer. Her exceptional performance made a strong impact on the prospective client. Throughout the card game, she had already presented her company's products in a lively and captivating manner. Even though Han Ting appeared calm and collected, he was secretly unimpressed. Despite spending a decade overseas, Han Ting remains unable to forget a tiny wonton eatery from his hometown. As soon as he came back to the country, he promptly reached out to his longtime friend Xiao Xiao. Throughout the years, Xiao Xiao has seemed to be a company executive, yet in truth, he has been functioning under Ji Xing's guidance, including the takeover of several significant projects. Numerous subsidiary companies were genuinely conceived and created by Han Ting, establishing Han Ting as the true big boss. While talking about dinner tonight, Xiao Xiao quickly observed that Han Ting was familiar with Ji Xing and deduced that Han Ting likely had a strong affection for her, validating his assumption with Han Ting. Nonetheless, Han Ting quickly refuted it. Even though he met Ji Xing many years ago, she did not respond to his messages at that time. After many years, their connection had diminished. Although he spoke differently, Han Ting was aware that encountering Ji Xing again still caused his heart to race. In the evening, Han Ting stared at the phone number Ji Xing had given earlier that day. After connecting with her on WeChat, Ji Xing believed he was the driver from the incident that morning. She promptly said sorry and asked about the payment, which caused Han Ting to chuckle to himself since she didn't know who he was. He chose to maintain his disguise. The following morning, Ji Xing listened as her coworkers enthusiastically reported that Zhao Xingbua, the client they hosted the previous night, had finalized the contract. The company had effectively obtained the agreement, and the anticipated bonus from Xingdi was attainable. Jixing felt extremely joyful. Soon after, a person brought a big arrangement of flowers to her, eliciting jealous glances from all around. A curious coworker extracted the card from the bouquet and intentionally pronounced the name Zhao Xingbua. Sent by the partner company's manager, it ignited murmurs among the employees. They theorized that Jixing had spent the night with Zhao Xingbua and obtained the contract in only one evening, with the rival company's owner even sending flowers. Those ideas swiftly gave rise to wild fantasies. Han Ting's abrupt involvement in the family business instantly triggered his elder sister's caution. She was apprehensive about losing her hard-won position and started gathering her loyal supporters in the company, persistently attempting to undermine Han Ting. On this occasion, she compelled Han Ting to issue a military directive to double Han Hai's stock worth within a 2-year timeframe. Upon departing from the company, Han Ting visited a spot he once cherished. Several years ago, he and Jixing looked after a stray cat in that place, creating numerous lovely memories together. Xiao Xiao sought him out there, concerned after listening to Han Ting's military command earlier that day. Given the array of complex problems within the company and various factors to address, no one could promise that they would be able to double the stock in 2 years. Guanghua Technology was on the verge of hosting a celebratory banquet. Jixing eagerly called her closest friend. Because it was a festive occasion, her friend recommended that she put on a black cocktail dress. Her light complexion and stunning looks could easily dazzle and silence those who enjoyed spreading rumors. At the festive banquet, Jixing donned a black cocktail dress, leaving Han Ting feeling as if she were enveloped by shimmering stars. Xiao Xiao, adorned in a costly suit, strolled alongside Han Ting as they approached the stage. Before everyone, she genuinely expressed her gratitude to Han Ting for his years of support. Jixing noticed the profound affection in Xiao Xiao's gaze directed at Han Ting, and with her intuition, she instantly realized that her boss had secretly admired Han Ting for quite some time. On stage, Xiao Xiao and Han Ting appeared to be an ideal pair, which was perfectly reasonable. Still, Jixing experienced a pang of jealousy. Her middle school crush had swiftly turned into someone who was taken. Upon leaving the restroom, Jixing encountered Zhu Lei. He asks for a talk, but she refused. Zhu Lei took advantage of Jixing's departure to deliberately slap her rear. This trivial and intolerable behavior angered Jixing, leading her to confront him directly about sexual harassment. Zhu Lei, instead of apologizing, openly blamed Jixing in front of everyone for wearing revealing clothes and flirting with him. Jixing experienced public disgrace, leading her wrath to redden her eyes. Han Ting and Tang Song were about to depart to meet a client when they saw Jixing tearful. Han Ting quickly asked Tang Song to stay and went to meet the client alone. Someone close to Jixing pointed out that there were many clients at the banquet and suggested she consider the repercussions and reduce the issue. However, Zhu Lei refused to apologize, compelling Jixing to reach out to the authorities. The police arrived and reviewed the surveillance footage, but it was unclear, making it difficult to prove Zhu Lei's actions. The issue seemed to be ignored until Tang Song showed footage from the event's robot monitor, which clearly displayed what occurred. Thanks to Tang Song's immediate proof, Zhu Lei couldn't dispute it, confirming Jixing's innocence. Xiao Xiao, upon hearing the news, promptly comforted Jixing and arranged for someone to escort her home. That evening, Jixing talked about the event with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was very concerned about her situation. She didn't want to work anymore, but needed to keep going due to her mortgage. The next day at work, she noticed the disapproving glances from everyone. A considerate colleague subtly notified Jixing that Zhu Lei was dismissed the previous night as a result of Tang Song's behavior. A great number of colleagues now thought Jixing was in a relationship with the newly assigned supervisor, resulting in negative comments about her on the company's internal platform. Jixing's department leader, deeply troubled and closely connected to Zhu Lei, was dissatisfied and put pressure on Jixing, hoping she would quit. That day, the leader assigned Jixing a significant amount of work, causing her to work late. The department staff voiced their discontent, blaming Jixing for their problems. Ji Xing endured the pressure and completed most of the assignments, finally finishing in the early hours. Exhausted, she lowered herself down the stairs. As the elevator doors slowly opened, Ji Xing raised his eyes and noticed a well-known person. Han Ting had just finished work too. They took the elevator together, and Ji Xing, feeling drained both physically and emotionally, contemplated the previous night's events and thanked Han Ting yet again. She found that the robot at the event didn't have a camera, and it was Han Ting's strategy that prompted Zhu Lei's confession. It was raining heavily outside, and Ji Xing's boyfriend didn't show up, so Han Ting drove her home. Observing her confused expression, Han Ting asked Ji Xing when she had changed her phone number. Upon finding out that she changed it when she started university, Han Ting finally understood why he never received any replies to his messages. Ji Xing was tasked by her supervisor to monitor the software performance at the hospital. Throughout the procedure, she witnessed numerous patients growing frustrated because of a failure in the hospital's intelligent medical system. Ji Xing proposes to investigate the issue. She thoroughly analyzes the problem, resolves it, and quickly gets the system operational. Once the doctor genuinely expresses his appreciation for the assistance, Ji Xing seizes this chance to persuade him to evaluate the robot developed by Robot Bay. In the meantime, Han Ting reaches the hospital. He expresses regret for the trouble and assures that he will inspect the entire system. While leaving the hospital, Ji Xing tells Han Ting that she suspects someone orchestrated the bug issue. Upon her arrival at the hospital, she noticed an unfamiliar man attempting to provoke the irate crowd by emphasizing Dongyang Medical's name. She requests that he investigate it. Ji Xing gets a message from her team member notifying her that a press release regarding the matter has already been issued. This validates their suspicion that this entire incident was a major scheme. Han Ting proposes to drive Ji Xing in his car, but she declines. He realizes that she wishes to steer clear of being spotted with him in case the entire situation escalates. He suggests that she shouldn't place too much significance on others' opinions. A report about Ji Xing's success at the hospital was made to her supervisor. Initially aiming to downplay Ji Xing's accomplishments, the supervisor unexpectedly ended up assisting her in receiving greater acknowledgement. However, Miss Xing influences him to believe that if Ji Xing advances too rapidly, she will jeopardize his role. Under Miss Xing's influence, Song Lin allocates hard assignments to Ji Xing. When she mentions that the marketing department should handle the task, he entirely dismisses her concern and postpones her promotion. Ji Xing has reached her limit and ultimately advocates for herself. She realizes that her supervisor intentionally gives her monotonous assignments. When Ji Xing returns to her desk, Song Lin makes an effort to lift her spirits. Yet she has reached her limit. On a sudden impulse, she quits, drops her employee card, and leaves the building. Han Ting watches her as she exits the office. Ji Xing contacts her boyfriend to tell him about her actions. To her amazement, he fully backs her choice. He tells her that her joy is what matters most to him. In the meantime, the elderly woman Ji Xing assisted at the hospital contacts her. She discloses that she continues to experience tooth pain. This encourages Ji Xing to establish a no-cost medical clinic in the fishing village where the grandmother resides. The camp is a joint initiative with Dongyang Medical, and Han Ting also reaches the village. He invites her to be part of his company as an AI engineer, but she refuses. Following the successful camp and witnessing the hardships of the elderly firsthand, Ji Xing contemplates methods to assist them.